Hi, let's talk about duality, this whole love and light movement, and how it actually numbs people down and puts them in depression. In the struggle for survival, the natural world provides the lessons for humanity. Consider the lobster, an often cited example by Jordan Peterson, which fights relentlessly to secure its territory and assert dominance. This struggle is emblematic of a broader intrinsic truth about life. We live in the world of duality. There is good and evil, light and darkness, order and chaos. Recognizing and confronting this duality is crucial for navigating the complexities of the modern existence. We live in a world where beings fight for survivals, animals eat each other, and everyone wants their piece of personal space and personal truth. Now, the whole New Age movement, with its emphasis of love and light, all of these weird ET races, Pleiadians and Lyrans and Taygetans and others doing this channeling and giving a lot of hopes and big events and just telling people that they're going to be distracted and something big is going to happen. Of course, great. There are plenty of lessons. Lessons in compassion and kindness and getting a better understanding and all. However, an unbalanced focus on these ideals can become a trap, blinding us to the necessity of confronting life's darker aspects. The whole movement is full of some big important events, hope, and the change where people tend to listen and dream but not take action. To fully engage with reality, we must acknowledge the interplay of opposing forces and understand that passivity in the face of adversity can lead to stagnation and depression. In today's world, people are increasingly being numbed down and trained to be submissive, restrained by the pervasive fear of the cancel culture, the woke movement, the mainstream media, the system. Cancel culture, a phenomenon where individuals are ostracized for expressing opinions that deviate from the accepted norm, has created an environment where free speech is stifled and conformity is rewarded. This culture of fear suppresses genuine expression and critical thinking, leading to a homogenized society where only one narrative is allowed to flourish. From a psychological perspective, this suppression is detrimental to mental health. Human beings are inherently social creatures who thrive on authentic interactions and the exchange of diverse ideas. When individuals feel that they cannot speak their truth or express different opinions, it leads to a sense of isolation and alienation. The fear of publicly being shamed or losing one's job for holding unpopular views, for not wanting to take a job to be allowed to go to work, creates this whole self-censorship that erodes personal integrity and strives intellectual growth. Of course, there are societal control mechanisms where the system perpetuates this state of conformity. By promoting a singular narrative and marginalizing alternative viewpoints, the system maintains control over the masses. This method of control is not new. It has historical precedents in totalitarian regimes where dissent was brutally suppressed to ensure the compliance. Now, of course, there are consequences of suppression. The psychological impact of living in such environment cannot be overstated. When people are unable to express their true thoughts and feelings, it leads to a condition known as learned helplessness. This is a state where individuals feel powerless to change their circumstances, leading to apathy and a passive acceptance of the status quo. The chronic stress associated with self-censorship can also result in increased levels of anxiety and depression. Moreover, the lack of diverse viewpoints and critical discourse stunts the societal progress. Innovation and growth stem from the clash of ideas and synthesis of diverse perspectives. When a society discourages dissent and enforces a monolithic way of thinking, it becomes stagnant and less resilient in the face of new challenges. Of course, there is importance of the balance. From a metaphysical standpoint, the suppression of dissenting voices disrupts the natural balance of duality that is the essence for the growth and evolution. The universe operates on the principle of balance between opposing forces, light and dark, order and chaos. When one side is artificially suppressed, it leads to an imbalance that manifests as societal dysfunction and individual suffering. It is important to integrate our shadow side, the darker, more primal aspects of our nature, into our conscious self. This integration allows us to harness the power of our aggression and assertiveness constructively, rather than letting it fester and erupt destructively. By acknowledging and confronting our darker impulses, we achieve a more holistic and balanced existence. Now, many spiritual teachers advocate for responding to negativity with love, turning the other cheek, and avoiding confrontation. While these principles are noble and can promote harmony, they can also lead to the state of inaction if not tempered with the recognition of life inherent challenges. This world is not a utopian fantasy. It is a battleground, a war zone, where survival often necessitates assertiveness and, at times, aggression. Societal structures and manipulations can suppress individual freedom and expression. The suppression is evident in today's culture, where expressing anger or dissent is often stigmatized. People are conditioned to avoid conflict, leading to a collective resignation and a loss of individuality. The psychological impact of societal suppression is profound. When individuals are discouraged from expressing their true feelings and standing up for their beliefs, it affects their mental and physical well-being. Smiling can trigger the production of serotonin and oxytocin, promoting a sense of well-being, while covering in fear or sadness increases the cortisol levels, leading to distress and depression. The societal pressure to confirm and avoid conflict can create a generation of passive individuals unwilling to assert their rights or defend their beliefs. This passivity is not only detrimental to personal health, but also to the collective resilience of society. A community that does not challenge injustice or stand up against oppression is vulnerable to manipulation and control. Tony Robbins, one of my favorite motivational speakers and life coaches, emphasizes the significance of physicality in influencing our mental states. He teaches that adopting powerful postures and engaging in vigorous physical activity can transform our emotional states. Now, Tony often discusses how standing tall, with our shoulders back and head held high, can immediately change our internal chemistry, boosting confidence and reducing stress. Jordan Peterson, in his book of 12 Rules for Life, also underscores the importance of posture. His first rule, stand up straight with your shoulders back, highlights how adopting a confident physical stance can positively impact our mental health. This rule is not just about posture, but about embracing responsibility and facing life challenges head on. By physically embodying confidence and strength, we signal to our brains that we are capable and resilient, which in turn reduces feelings of helplessness and depression. Now, the modern world, with its technological conveniences, has distances from our primal, instinctual nature. This disconnection from our fundamental human needs and natural rhythms has left us vulnerable to depression and existential angst. Reclaiming our connection to nature and our primal selves is crucial for overcoming these modern afflictions. The comfort of technology has indeed taken away many of our primitive need satisfactions. In the past, humans were required to engage in physical activities for survival: hunting, gathering, building shelters. These activities naturally regulated our body chemistry, ensuring a balance of hormones that promoted physical and mental well-being. Today, many of those activities, of course, are no longer necessary, and our sedentary lifestyles contribute to the epidemic of depression and anxiety. One of the fundamental aspects of combating depression is establishing a regular routine. For example, waking up at a consistent time each morning helps us to regulate our circadian rhythms, which in turn stabilizes our mood and energy levels. Engaging in regular physical exercise releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. Additionally, spending time outdoors and connecting with nature can significantly reduce stress and improve overall well-being. To counteract the depressive effects of the modern life, it is essential to reconnect with our primal selves. George talks about it in his book when he mentions lobsters. This means embracing physical activity, engaging with nature, and adopting routines that mimics our ancestral lives. Simple actions like walking barefoot on earth, practicing mindfulness, and spending time in natural settings can help reestablish this connection. But of course, let's go back to the duality and how important it is to say no. One of the most powerful tools at our disposal is the ability to say no. In the face of coercion and control, asserting one's boundaries is an act of defiance and self-respect. It's important to set personal boundaries and use the transformative power of asserting one's will. By saying no, we establish clear limits that protect our integrity and well-being. The simple act of self-assertion can have profound effects on our mental and emotional health, signaling to ourselves and others that we value our autonomy. For example, martial arts teach us the importance of self-defense, not as a means to harm others, but to protect oneself and those we love and care. This principle can be applied beyond the physical combat to all areas of life. Recognizing our inner strength and potential for assertiveness is crucial for maintaining our autonomy and integrity. Being someone who can say no when necessary is important. When COVID-19 hit, when the pandemic started, We witness how quickly personal freedoms can be taken away because of one truth mainstream media narrative. Small businesses were shattered. Individuals were forced to compliance through fear and economic pressure. This period underscores the importance of vigilance and the need to question authority when they're going too far. Saying no in such times is not just an act of personal defiance, but also a crucial component of maintaining free and open society. Throughout history, there have been numerous examples of ideologies that had led us to the suppression of individual freedoms. The rise of Nazism and communism provides us stark reminders of how powerful narratives can be used to control and manipulate populations. Under these regimes, dissent was not tolerated, and the failure to conform often resulted in severe punishment. The Nazis, under Hitler, created a totalitarian state where propaganda was used to control the narrative and suppress the opposition. The infamous Gestapo, secret police, enforced conformity, and the consequences for saying no or resisting were often fatal. The regime's propaganda machine promoted a singular truth that justified its actions and silenced everyone who were talking differently. Similarly, in the communist states, particularly under leaders like Stalin and Mao, the centralization of power led to the widespread repression. For example, Karl Marx's Satanistic ideologies were twisted into tools of control while preaching the liberation of the working class. The state dictated every aspect of life, and those who dared to oppose the official narrative faced the imprisonment, torture, or execution. The fear of retribution forced many to comply silently, stifling any form of opposition. These historical examples illustrate the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of maintaining the ability to say no. They highlight how ideologies, when used to centralize control and suppress dissent, can lead to devastating consequences for individual freedoms and our societal well-being. Think of George Orwell, 1984. Tells it all. Now, of course, to navigate in this complex world, we must acknowledge and integrate our darker aspects. Understanding our capacity for aggression and destructiveness allows us to control and channel those forces constructively. Denying our inner monster does not make it disappear. It only weakens our ability to harness its power for good. This concept is not about advocating for violence or cruelty, but about recognizing that we possess the strength and resilience to stand up for ourselves and others. In times of suppression, when our voices are silenced and our freedoms are threatened, tapping into this inner strength is essential. We've seen it in the movies too. For example, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Batman embodies the struggle to balance light and darkness within. Bruce Wayne, as Batman, uses his inner darkness, his pain, anger, and aggression, to fight against the criminal underworld of the Gotham City. His willingness to operate in the shadows and employ fear as a tool against his enemies showcases the constructive use of one's inner monster. Batman's actions, though often morally ambiguous, ultimately aim to protect the innocent and uphold justice, demonstrating the potential of the channeling darker aspects for the greater good. In Gladiator movie, Maximus Decimus Meridius channels his inner monster to seek justice and restore honor. After losing his family and being betrayed by the corrupt Emperor Commodus, Maximus transforms his grief and rage into a relentless drive for revenge and justice. His prowess as a gladiator, fueled by his inner turmoil, inspires others and exposes the corruption within the Roman Empire. Maximus' journey highlights how harnessing inner darkness can lead to the personal redemption and societal change. We can take public figures. Jordan Peterson has become a prominent figure in the battle against the suppression of free speech and the rise of the cancel culture. Jordan is known for his defense of the individual rights, his critique of the political correctness, and having quite an opinion about the woke movement and the gender identity crisis, and much more. Pearson has faced significant backlash for his views. Despite this, he continues to speak out, encouraging others to do the same. His work emphasizes the importance of standing up for what one believes is true, even in the face of intense social and professional pressure. By confronting the woke movement and cancel culture, Peterson demonstrates how embracing one's inner monster, facing criticism and adversity with courage, can lead to significant societal impact. Now, some of you also have heard about David Icke. David has long warned about the dangers of centralized control and the suppression of dissent. His willingness to speak out against mainstream narratives exemplifies the power of saying no to overreaching authority. He didn't take the jab, he didn't wear masks, he was fighting back in his own ways. David's advocacy for questioning official stories and promoting independent thought highlights the importance of vigilance and critical thinking in maintaining a free society. His work reminds us that embracing our inner monster involves challenging the status quo and defending our freedoms, even when it's unpopular or risky. We can see that acknowledging and integrating our inner monster is not about succumbing to violence or cruelty. Instead, it's about recognizing the full spectrum of our human nature and using our inner strength and resilience to stand up against injustice, protecting our loved ones, and drive meaningful change. We have to move forward with balance. In this world of duality, while I'm saying that, yeah, all these channelers who talk about love and light, or even using our inner monster, we have to find a path forward and balance. Embrace the ideals of love and compassion, but do not let them blind you to the necessity of confrontation and assertiveness. Understand that life is a duality, and true growth comes from navigating the interplay of light and dark, order and chaos. By standing up for ourselves, expressing our true feelings, and saying no when necessary, we create a world where both compassion and strength coexist, fostering a society that is both kind and resilient. By acknowledging our inner strength and refusing to be passive in the face of adversity, we can build a life that is not only rich in love and light, but also grounded in the reality of our shared human experience. In this duality, where people are pushing this love and light and hope for something big and give in and do not say no and turn the other cheek, and so many stories where people end up being numbed down, it is so important for us to fight back one way or the other. First, by taking care of yourself, taking care of your primitive needs. Stand up straight. That simple thing. Adopt a confident posture, standing up straight with your shoulders back, and it's going to immediately boost your confidence, a signal to your brain that you are in control. Establish a routine. Wake up at the same time every day, a regular sleep schedule. It's going to help you to regulate your circadian rhythm, which is crucial for maintaining mental health. Now you do two things. You take care of your posture, you take care of your sleep schedule, and all of a sudden, your whole body chemistry says that, hey, you're doing better than usual. You're not going to be as depressed and anxious or stressed. And then there's physical activity. Regular exercise releases endorphins and reduces cortisol levels. So find an activity you enjoy, whether it's walking, running, or practicing martial arts. It's going to help you out. Connect with the nature. Spend time outdoors. Nature has calming effect on the mind and can help you reduce the stress and anxiety. Practice mindfulness or meditation to help you stay grounded and present. These practices can reduce stress and improve overall mental clarity. Express yourself. Do not suppress your feeling. If you're angry, if you're feeling resentment, if you have gathered tons of things inside, find an outlet. Try journaling. Try talking to a friend. Try engaging in a creative activity, but do not hold it in. You are not wrong, not bad, not guilty for feeling rage, anger, resentment. People are pushing this love and light and oh, love thy enemy and don't you dare say something negative because every negative thought or cussing will create a different frequency and it's gonna affect you going to a new earth or all of these crazy stories. Fuck that. Express how you feel. Do not let it build up. You have to take care of your own primitive needs to not feel depressed anymore, to not feel helpless, not feel shy, to not close in. Little practice, little things, but all of a sudden everything here changes. Your life changes when you stand up for yourself. Set boundaries. Learn to say no. Protect your personal space and do not allow others to suppress your voice or beliefs. And of course, acknowledge your darker impulses and understand how they can be channeled constructively. This self-awareness is the first step in harnessing your inner power. Find role models. Study the lives of individuals who have successfully harnessed their inner monster for good. Historical figures, fictional heroes, real-life mentors. You will find someone who has already achieved something that you want to get. And by incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we can counteract the numbing. By incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we can counteract the numbing effect of societal suppression and technological comfort. Embracing our primitive instincts, maintaining physical health, and standing up for our beliefs are essential steps in reclaiming our mental and emotional well-being. So look at yourself, look at what's around. If there's love and joy and light, yeah, great, enjoy. But do not succumb and do not let it numb you down. Stop hoping for something grand to happen and make it yourself. And all in all, If you're feeling depressed, if you're not feeling good, basics, posture, sleep, walking around, connecting with nature, is primitive. Anyway, I hope this is somewhat helpful. If you have different thoughts, please share, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.